not organized when I ask the questions. We won't last too long on that though. And then thirdly, I forgot what I was gonna say. Lawrence's costume hasn't been finalized yet. So the cosplay for Papagu is still in the works. Give me some time, because that's not an easy costume to put together. I'm not a seamstress. Like I don't know how to just create these costumes that are not readily available. You know, so I have to ask for help. So other than that, what's up, guys? How are you?
I'm good, man. It's good to be back.
Yeah.
It's good to be back. Again, I was salty I missed last episode where y'all was going off on Kid. I enjoyed it thoroughly, though. I did. I'm not playing. It was good conversation. Larry took major W's, and I let us see that for him. Honestly, I did.
Yeah, man.
That was a huge dub. That was probably... He's taken dubs on this channel before. That was probably the biggest one so far.
I've taken many.
No, you got a couple.
Many dubs,
couple.
I would say.
But yeah, I was away. It's good to be back. It's good to be back in Jersey because it was just a long week away, bro. It was fun, but it was just a long week, and it's good to be back, man. It's good to be back here.
Glad to have you back, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you should have been here last episode. It was fun,
yeah. Yo, it was popping to watch.
Yo, people were fumbling, bro.
Yo, you was so aggressive.
He was.
I was like, bro, these are fans. You know what you reminded me of? You reminded me of Star. You remember Star from like Hot 97 way back in the early 2000s?
No.
Oh my God, yo. He member for a month. Appreciate that.
Yes,
Jacob Tiffany says, I won't be able to tune in too much tonight, but just remember, I love y'all always. Hashtag Larry had W takes. Hashtag we need Lionel. Hashtag topped on top. Hey. Yeah, I wish the boy could be here, man. Shout out to Jacob Tiffany, but we wish Lionel could be here. He was a little under the weather today.
Yeah.
But we'll see if he's back next week.
Lionel just attracts all the little bacterias that make people sick for some reason.
Bro, it's been crazy recently.
He's like a sponge this year.
Man.
Yeah,
man.
He's just straining his immune system. Something's going on.
Yeah.
Damn, Lawrence.
He do. That's the truth, man.
That's what happens when you got a twin, bro.
How you call your twin
like
weak like that, bro?
I call week. I see he's strengthening his immune system.
Oh
Yo,
my
that's
God.
crazy.
Jeez. Shout out to T-Bone. We got T-Bone in the chat. Shout out to He-Man. We got He-Man in the chat. And I just clown pusher. Appreciate y'all. We got a couple more super chats.
I said nothing wild.
Yo, bro.
I said nothing wild.
Lionel, if you're watching this, he doesn't mean it.
He meant that. Yo, you know Lawrence. He meant that.
Oh,
Bro.
yeah, I meant that.
He meant that fully. 100%.
100%.
100%. We did get a $2 super chat from Brandon Landry. Landry? It's definitely Landre. It says, "Do you think Kids Awakening could be fake?" Jesus.
That would be damn.
Jesus.
Larry don't even become that kid like that.
No,
No.
but
I don't think so.
Imagine.
I was gonna let
I don't
him
think so.
What, kid is lying about something?
Yo, that would be hilarious. Who did he say he awakened?
I will say this.
You know what I mean?
Hold on. I will.
yes,
No,
what?
that wasn't awakening. I will say this. There might be times where people aren't. I don't want to sound like a hater, because this is gonna make me sound like a hater.
So do your thing, bro.
There might be times where people receive devil fruits, and they necessarily don't know how to use the fullest extent or are able to unlock the devil fruit's potential, right? So another person that would be really good at using that devil fruit would be able to accomplish this without an awakening to a degree, you know? Like, Kid probably considers it an awakening because he's not really that good with it, the devil fruit itself. So he's like, yo, I gotta tap in further into the devil fruit more than I actually could. You guys get what I'm saying? In a way? Where, like, if you gave this devil fruit to Frankie, he probably doesn't consider what Kid's awakening as an actual awakening. He's probably like, yo, I just knew how to, like, instinctively do that, but there's a further power beyond this that I would consider an awakening.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying now?
Yeah.
That maybe that could be something of possibility, but I wouldn't say that's true. I do think that Kid is
Yeah,
awakened.
because he asked Law if he knew how to awaken, right?
Yeah. No, I don't think he acts.
That's what I'm trying to. I think it's an awakening. I'm just trying to
No, it's
remember if they
awakening.
said the
No, I think
words
it's awakening.
awakening
No.
when they were like talking, using whatever
Yeah.
with the abilities. But it's an awakening.
But that wasn't me hating. I was just
Nah,
like, yo,
that
like
was real.
there's probably
That was real.
a finish line to all devil fruits,
Okay.
and it's harder for him to get there.
Except Luffy.
No, but didn't they
got
have a
it.
conversation like
I don't remember.
someone
though.
like Kid and Law were talking and someone asked him, yo, have you awakened your ability yet?
And he said something along the lines of like, I'm not telling you that, or I'm not. It was something where he didn't want to divulge something to.
Yeah, it was Law asking Kid. Yeah, that's what it was. That's what
I'm sure it's an awakening.
yeah.
Yeah. It's,
But thank you so much, Brandon. We got another $5 super chat from James Hudson. It says, #Lionel isn't real. #Larry for Mary. #Seb shirt is purple. #Bucky Gang. Much love, y'all. I'll be in and out throughout this stream. Yeah, I put a poll up to see if my shirt is purple. And it's been back and forth. I'm losing right now.
It looks like
It's
a faded dark lavender type purple.
yeah, lavender's
Close.
purple.
It's
Yeah.
56% to 44% for yes right now.
Yeah, the 44% just clearly doesn't know what colors are.
Apparently, I don't know what colors
Yeah,
are,
this is
bro.
the whole, is the dress white and gold or blue and...
But hold on,
you know
that
what
was
I'm
an
saying?
optical illusion. My shirt is an optical illusion.
To some people it is. Clearly.
Hey, it's at 53%, 52% now. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But thank you so much, Pig. We got another subscription to Nakama status from NP. Thank you so much. Enjoy all the emojis and the privileges that come with being a Nakama.
Arigato.
We got a $5 super chat from Terrence Matthews. It says Kaido and Toguro are actually similar now that you mentioned Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yes, that is very true.
I think
Tagoro's whole thing was he wanted to be defeated because he noticed that he took the wrong path in life.
the other part
And then
of
he
it,
lost the love of his life.
But yeah, the other part was that there was that deeper element with him and what was the granny's name, man? I can't remember her name.
Genkai.
Genkai, yes. We didn't get that with Kaido. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We didn't get that part of it with Kaido.
Well, his Genkai was probably just like Yamato, in a way.
I thought you were gonna say rocks, but word.
Could be rocks.
Not
too.
even in that kind of way, but just
Could
who
be
that person was.
Well,
for him.
we have to find out what rocks
He
meant.
says big rocks. Hey, man.
That romantic relationship that never happened. You know?
A lot of foes, bro. The will they, won't they of the Yonko.
And you know it's crazy too. The same way Toguro took out like Kuwabara, it was the same way like he took out the Scabbards or like Kenimo.
It's true.
Yeah, there are some parallels.
Man, never mind. I was gonna dive deeper into Yu Yu Hakusho lore. We ain't got time for that. We got another $2 super chat from Mr. Bushido56. It says Hawkeye is Zoro's dad. Hawkhead.
Wait,
I don't know. That's probably the wildest one I've seen from Bushido, bro. He got some wild ones, but we literally got Zoro's lineage. Like we got it. You know what I'm saying? We actively got it.
So that is a perfect segue into what I was going to ask you guys. Do we have anything more?
We have like 2 more.
Okay.
Yeah. We got another $5 from Mr. Bushido. It says, not to get hate from Larry, but the hater, Larry the hater. But I think Kid will win this war with Shanks. He won't fight him yet because why send Rockstar to give a message?
You could refund $5, right?
I don't know.
I think I'm gonna refund it just because I think you need it more than
Hold
me
on.
do.
So, to my understanding of what Bushido said just now is that Shanks and Kid won't fight now.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that he'll win the overall war. I still don't see it, but
What war would that be?
Yeah, against who though?
Yeah.
Against
so
who?
me and Bushido have had several conversations about this situation, and I gave him privy to my theory about the Grand Fleet, and that drives a little deeper. Maybe that's the war he's pertaining to, because we talked about he had similar thoughts, but I just don't see Kid taking a dub over Shanks, and then he might get a meeting with Shanks, because I didn't get to give my take on the whole shebang. I think he meets Shanks, because that was the whole thing. Like, you got your arm taken, and I wish I was on the pod to break it down, but Law mentioned like what it's like for small crews to deal with the bigger crews in the New World. They don't even get an audience with the captain. That clearly is what happened to Kid. I think he gets an audience with Shanks, whether it's because he defeated enough of his people, enough respect, whatever it is. I think Kid meets Shanks. Not going to go well for him if he meets him, regardless. So, is what it is. But
None of that matters to me.
hey, listen.
Kid about to call Shanks daddy, bro.
Damn.
Listen,
He's the daddy of the Red
Bushido
Hairs.
was talking about like he might join Shanks' crew at some point. I don't know.
Yeah. I think we can move on.
Wait, was that Bushido?
We
We
already know, bro.
Yeah.
We already know.
Yeah. All right, we did get another $5 super chat from Britain Flounders. It says, "Real talk, cool bar and no diffs kid. Hashtag Larry is the Stephen A. Smith of One Piece. First super chat. Hashtag Yamato. Yes, I'm Simp gay. Hashtag yummy yummy in my tummy.
Flat out deceit.
Thank you for the super chat.
How do you
It's his
feel?
first one too. It's his first one.
Yeah.
First one.
Welcome. Thank you.
Welcome. How do you feel about being referred to as
Listen.
the Stephen A. of the One Piece community?
Stephen A. used to spit real good when it came to takes, but like as of the recent years, he's been terrible. So I don't know how to take that.
It depends on the topic. If you're talking about anything beyond basketball, Steve A. don't know what
I gotta start using terms like he does then, right? Stay off the weed!
That's what you gotta do every time somebody hypes Kid.
Yeah,
bro.
right? Mark probably has like a soundbite.
Right,
He
thank
has
you.
mad sports shows.
Thank
We
you.
have been hoodwinked.
Thank you, Britton. We got another $5 super chat from Debito Inc. It says, the shirt is, of course, purple. Real question is, what color is the hat? Obviously green.
Yeah, it's lime green.
Lime green.
It's like
Yeah.
highlighter green.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, that's what lime green is.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like highlight
Oh,
lime
like,
green.
A lime is like a different color than it.
Somebody gonna
Yo,
say.
maybe I'm really
What'd you
colorblind,
say?
bro.
Because you're saying limes are not like the fruit.
Like a
I'm not-
highlighter and a lime are two different colors.
Have you ever seen like a lime, like a lime green type of crayon?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, that is true.
Are you just basing your colors off fruits?
I mean, that is probably more natural
Yo,
because they're fruit.
Yeah, y'all telling me these fake colors that come in a crayon box. Y'all just counted all 64, and now y'all know what the y'all know.
But limes are legit just the color green.
I think that's where you failed.
The
That
regular
64.
green.
There's more than 64 colors.
Y'all had more than 64 crayons?
Yeah. What class did you go to,
Yeah,
bro?
listen.
But Sebastian, you do realize that limes though are just like the natural color green, like regular green though.
Yeah.
That was my point. I said it wasn't lime green.
We gotta stop. We're a podcast about One Piece. We talking about
The fans questioned us with a super chat. Whatever. I don't know colors. That's obvious.
Yeah.
Okay? It is what it is. We got another $2 from Mr. Bushido 56. It says Morgan's is Nami's dad. His name is Spencer Discord.
Like,
I don't even
Morgan.
the giant bird.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I just want y'all to know the poll is at 50-50 right now.
Yo, people are crazy.
No, man. I just
I
want y'all
don't
to know.
understand what's going on.
Blindness is a serious thing.
Listen,
Yeah, y'all need to get checked. Y'all need to go to the doctor and be like, yo.
I'm done with the colors.
All right.
I'm going to end the
yeah,
poll.
yeah.
Oh, I'm going to end the poll now because Noah's up 51%. Let's go.
I can't.
Hey,
That's terrible.
not purple.
All right, next one.
There is no more super chat. Oh, yeah, we just got one. It's we got a $5 super chat from Slinks Rumble. It says, first time catch you guys live. Been on Spotify. I caught up and now I've got nothing to listen to at work. Much love from New Zealand. Hashtag Buggy Gang. What's up, yo?
What's up? Thank
really
you.
appreciate that, Slinks. Yeah, I mean, catching up. That's all 90 episodes. I was going to comment that on earlier.
No, that's not only 90 episodes. That's plus the Davey Back tournaments.
Are
if
you-
he's doing the Davey Back tournaments.
Oh man, that's a lot of episodes, man. That's a
yeah,
lot
listen,
of
man.
that's a lot of Larry. That's a lot of Larry, bro. I'll be taking some days off. You don't. That's a lot of
I
Larry.
took like 2
bro.
episodes off.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot. It was like one, bro.
One day we just needed to leave Lawrence here by himself so he could just try to push through.
We call in.
Yeah, we call it.
But yeah, that's all the super chats for now.
I don't think the fans want that. Just me?
Why not?
We could probably all do a just one of us episode.
I definitely could. I'd just be
Yeah.
talking crap the whole time.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Everybody
We
be
can't-
calling up. I'm
We
like, yeah.
can't leave Larry unchecked like that. That's the problem.
That's not true. You could leave me unchecked.
Okay.
I don't know, man. You be saying some wild stuff.
Do I?
Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah.
chill. Chill.
So,
dude.
I don't know if I can handle that much Larry. literally from the fan base.
All right. So Oda did come out with an SBS. Very controversial in a lot of ways.
Was it?
Yeah, it kind of was.
I've been away.
One of the first dumps of information was Zoro's lineage. So, Zoro is actually from the family tree of the Shimotsuki. It wasn't his father or his father, but it was, his great-great-grandmother who was the daughter of this guy, which gives us a relative time period of when Ryuma lived. So he is a descendant of Ryuma.
Yeah.
This was revealed in the SBS, and then it was also stated that his father, Arashi, was murked by a certain pirate. So my question to you guys is, how did you feel about Zoro's lineage being in an SBS? And also, who do you think the pirate was that ended up murking his dad? And I guess we'll start with Sebastian, because I feel like you have more of an idea right now. So.
All right, so when I first read the SBS thing, I was like, cool. We got Zoro's backstory because clearly we weren't getting into Wano. And I'm not one of those people who thinks we should revisit Wano in like an extreme way. And I also, having read Wano week to week, I just don't know where you fit or how you can organically get Zoro's backstory for real with how it was. Oda did a decent job with the flashback and the king situation that made us all think, and the correlation or the how he looked like Ushimaru and the one-eyed swordsman thing with Ryuma. So I didn't have a problem with it being revealed in an SBS personally, especially after Wano had already played out, right? Where my mind went, because you asked the question about who the pirate was, I have no idea. I have no good answer on that. What my question derived from this was, is Fujitora one of the other people, right? Because they said that only 10 of them or whatever settled in that village. And then the other ones went and did their own thing or whatever. Fujitora always seemed like he could be a descendant of Wano. So now I think that opens up the possibility that he's one of those other people. That's where my mind went. It also could have been a situation where he was a part of that group, and then whatever happened to Zoro's dad, where he was killed by pirates, could have led him down the path to cutting his eyes out. I don't know. My mind went to Fujitora for whatever reason. But yeah, I don't have anything as to who the pirate was. There's so many pirates out here. A lot of the times I think Oda just wants us to know that like the pirates that we know aren't just the only people who are making moves in the world or doing things. So it could be some big name pirate. I don't know that it needs to be, right? Like, I just don't think it needs to be. So I also went Roger. You know what I mean? Just cut like, oh, maybe Zoro's dad lost to Roger, but was Roger killing samurais for no reason? Like, I don't see that either. So it's like, I don't think the timeline doesn't work either. So I don't know. I didn't have anything great for who the pirate was. I just thought about Fujitora. So.
All right. What about you, Law?
First, honestly, I did kind of have a little problem with it being released in the SBS and not in the manga, because I kind of wanted, like, Oda even mentioned that Zoro has no idea this happened. We get Luffy kind of finding out who his father is, not his mother yet, but his father is, and he knows who his grandpa is. Sanji already knew his lineage, so we're kind of getting this information. Yeah, all right. We didn't maybe not have it at Wano, but at least have it in the manga, so we know that Zoro understands where he comes from. Even though he kind of shows like he doesn't really care. Like, kind of like Luffy. Luffy's like, oh, that's my dad? Okay. Like, it's not a really big deal to him. It's like, that hasn't changed anything. Which, it doesn't, I'm not saying it really kind of should anyway. So I'm not saying it should change Zoro, like, why would it? But just the fact that, for example, it would have been interesting, Zoro finding out that person where he got 𝙬𝙬 from, who he fought, even though it was at Brook Shadow, was my ancestor. Because Zoro kind of sensed a strange strength from him anyway, right? And then also that if we go back to through the bark, Brook's Shadow even mentions this body kind of recognizes, saying that you're worthy of this blade, so it gives it to him. Saying that obviously Brook's Shadow wouldn't know, but it's saying that he senses something from this body, saying that you are worthy of this sword, right? And then Zoro's like, I was going to take it anyway, even regardless if I was worthy or not, or whatever, right? But finding out, like, that was, like, your ancestor could have been interesting. And Zoro's reaction to, like, finding that out, like, oh, so I do come from Wano. So, because he kind of, like, was surrounded growing up by a bunch of people from Wano, right? The guy who created 𝙏𝙀 and Kuina's family, which is interesting because if you kind of look at it, it looks like Kuina and Zoro are kind of related, so to speak.
Cousins?
Yeah, or something like that, right? So surrounded by Wano and that phrase he learned. So I thought it would have been interesting, but the only problem is, like, I don't see how this information fits in Wano itself. Like, that's why I guess I understood why Oda didn't have it there, because where would we learn this for Zoro to learn? Like, no one would know this, you know? Because those, like, 25 people left Wano, no one knows where they went, and they have no connection from the outside world. So it makes sense, but I just want Zoro to understand, like, I guess, to know where he comes from. Not that it's going to have an impact on his life, but just knowing that this person, Ryuma, this god swordsman, is your ancestor, and you kind of have a similar dream. Like, you know? And because also, too, there's, like, a whole theory that Lana was kind of putting together, like, that Luffy, you know how Luffy has his 4 Yonko, right? Zoro has his own 4 Yonko of his own that he has to surpass or overcome. And Ryuma is one of them. And to find out one of your ancestors could put more into, all right, this is someone I need to overpass because he achieves my goal. You don't want to tie with him. You want to surpass him, you know? So I thought that would be interesting as well to add that factor into it. And I did think of Fujitora as well because of the way he dressed and he's a swordsman and everything. And I forgot his age, but I think Fujitora is like 2 or 3 years younger than Akainu. And Akainu's the same age as Luffy's father, which is like either, I forgot, it's like 50 or 56 or something like that. 55 years ago. So if you go by that one, Fujitora wouldn't be the people that left. He'll be like the offspring of one of those people that left Wano. Because it's like, when they left was 55 years ago, right? And Fujitora is, I believe, is younger than Akainu. So that's interesting where I thought the same thing. I think Fujitora is probably from those people, those 25 people that left. Because only about, like, was it 10 resided in Shukamoku village, and the others went, who else knows where, you know? And a lot of people, you could think of. Only the only one is Akainu doesn't fit in this because a lot of people who have Japanese names in the background, they seem like they're coming from Wano, except the two pair that we know that don't is Fujitora and Akainu, right? But Fujitora could be, but that make this Akainu come from Wano as well, right? He could have been one of the offspring of those same people because it's around that the year where he was probably just born. So I don't know. I don't think Akainu would have been originally from Wano, but it would have been interesting if he was, you know? And I think that's all I have for that right now. Yeah.
Yeah. There's times where Wano was long, and there's times when Wano was super short. And I think that based upon what you like about Wano is where you're going to find those two spectrums of the story. And to me, that's what also made it chaotic and unorganized. And I think that they were really good. Like I've always said this, there's really good parts in Wano where they're phenomenal. The highs are the highs. But when they're low, they're super low. And that's what doesn't make Wano an S tier arc. Plus all the buildup from Thriller Bark up until now and what it was supposed to signify for the story and how relatively important it was to the world itself. Wano is supposed to be this arc that's probably supposed to be the best arc, second to probably the last arc of the series. And it really depends on what was happening during those moments where you can insert Zoro's lineage. We've been working with Zoro as a partner to Luffy. He wasn't necessarily Luffy's underling. He was in agreement that we are going to both reach our goals. Right. And then they would accumulate a crew according to what Luffy wanted, and then they would surpass their dreams and go above and beyond. Like, Luffy, when he saw Zoro trying to accomplish his dream against Mihawk, that was a testament to Zoro's, like, interest as a character, but also his importance to the crew, but also the story of One Piece itself. Because to a degree, becoming the Pirate King is somewhat kind of synonymous with becoming the world's greatest swordsman for the people that we're interacting with. And I think that when you place so much value on Zoro and give him the reins and you go to a country full of swordsmen, you expect something to be, you know, given. You know, I've stated this before. When he went to Wano, he said that he was going to round up all the samurai. That never happened. When he fought the Fox and they were speaking about black blades, that got cut off. Then we seen Shimotsuki, I forgot his name, Urashi, I believe his name.
Or
Zoro's uncle?
Their uncle.
Ushimaru.
Ushimaru, yes. Yeah. Ushimaru in jail. We all suspected that he looked kind of like Zoro. It's like, and then he fights Kaido. You know what I'm saying? Like, then he unlocks Conqueror's Haki. It's like Zoro got placed with even versing King, who's of a special species, right? Little did we know, he's a Shimotsuki on the low. It's like all these things were there for Zoro to be told and to be given this certain attention, the same way Sanji has received attention this whole post-time skip. Like, Sanji has been in the limelight for everything post-time skip, but when it comes to Zoro, he kind of took a step back. And I feel like, I don't know why Oda decided to do that, but it doesn't necessarily make the story better for me. I expected to see a lot from Zoro during Wano. Did I see a lot? Yes, but it was only in terms of power scaling. It was never in terms of his actual character development. It was just, yo, we're gonna be the wings of the Pirate King, and I'm going to take the reins when I can. But it was never like, yo, there's any more interest. And this is where, like, Sanji fans are always right. Zoro fans are kind of like meatheads. But it's because the lack of character development during the Wano arc, which we expected to receive, he became even more of a meathead in that definition of what they say. For me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I just wish that even though it might not seem like it should have been in Wano, I still feel like there was enough room in order to insert it and have maybe Law or Kid take a step back in the limelight to a degree, or even Sanji to a degree. Because then it would have gave us that little, where we don't need an SBS of probably the most important, second or third most important character in the series. That's just me.
No, I feel you. I do. I want to say this. Have you seen Hidden's Zoro versus King breakdown, a character analysis thing?
No.
Yo, please watch that. It is fire. And I know Hidden's a friend of the show. Yo, It's so fire.
Yeah.
It's not answering all the issues that you presented, but it does present. It just shines a light on that fight and what it meant for Zoro's character a little bit more. That I appreciated when I saw it. But I agree with a lot of what you said. Like we could have and should have gotten more Zoro in Wano. I still don't even think it necessarily needed to be the family lineage thing.
Yeah.
Per se, I just think we should have gotten more. Like you talked about him rounding up the samurai. He should have been looked at as this beacon for them. Like it's like this mysterious Joy Boy Nika guy person. To me, it could have and should have probably just been Zoro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's me.
There also could have been like legends too of like Ryuma's supposed to signify everything in Wano you're supposed to be proud of, and it's like this guy looks like Ryuma a little bit. Like nobody ever mentions how he might have like looked like Ryuma somewhat, or like there was just.
They did it like
I think there's just more to gain, and like I got into this heated debate like at 4 a.m. with this guy, and he was like, "Yo, you can take the simplest of insinuations and just figure out the story. You don't need everything laid out in layman terms." And I was like, yo, because you think that way is why I consider Wano such a tragedy. Because you are able to accept the barest of minimum and be like, yo, that's a great arc. I'm going to depend on the information later. And I'm like, no, like if we got the character development right then and there wouldn't be such an outrage regarding like an SBS answer. Like people wouldn't feel this weird way of like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like, why would he do it in that fashion? Like, it should have been presented the same way like Awakenings for Kaido should have been presented. Like, there's some misses, and like if you think that Oda is always going to make the greatest story ever, it's his story. He's gonna write it the way he wants. But art is to be criticized. Art is supposed to be digested. You're supposed to look at it and be like, oh, like that's dope, or yo, that was kind of bad. Like, I didn't think too much of it. That's like going into the Ant-Man movie and being like, yo, the Ant-Man movie, 10 out of 10. Just because somebody wrote it the way they wrote it. You just got to accept it. It's like, nah, like that movie was a hard 5, bro. Like that, I'm allowed to be like, yo, that wasn't good. And there's sometimes like, Oda stumbled. He stumbled in Wano. In Egghead, he's been hitting on all cylinders. I got no complaints except for the Awakenings with Luffy and Kaku, Lucci and Kaku.
Couple complaints.
But overall, like, it's been phenomenal, page by page, week by week, the pacing of it, like, information dumps, yo, good, amazing. Mystery, who's the traitor? Amazing. But when it came to Wano, it was like, yo, there were some bad parts of Wano, dog. And I think this is one of them. We won't stay too long on the SBS, guys. I know that we only have an hour and a half left. I do want to get to calls. So I think the guy that actually ended up murking Zoro's pops was actually Zeph.
What?
That would be so crazy.
So the reason why I say Zeph is because I think him and Zeph were around the same age, and Zeph was a pirate just reigning through the seas. And it would be like the Sanji and Zoro thing could go even deeper, where he's like, yo, your dad killed my dad. And then Sanji fans can have like that one up.
That's great.
So,
question: when Oda phrased it, did he say a certain pirate or a pirate?
No, he just said pirates.
Okay.
Yeah, he said.
Because that's what I mean.
He said he died in battle.
Yeah, so that's my thing. The way he phrased it when I read it, it didn't seem like Oda. He does this where he'll say a certain pirate, and then it's like, okay, that means I'm probably gonna reveal that at some point, and y'all can discuss about it.
Yeah.
If he just said pirates, it's like, it's probably just dead. You know what I mean? Like, it was probably just pirates.
Yeah. There's a couple more things we could talk about regarding all this stuff, but what happened?
I was gonna mention a few things. It just says died in battle against pirates.
Yeah.
And one thing I do like actually in the SBS is that so we know that through Zoro's great grandmother, that's who he from the Shimasuki. But the swordsman line is from his great grandfather.
Yeah.
Right? As in because the man Roronoa Pinzoro, that married the Shimasuki, he was a swordsman.
Yeah.
So I like this. So he's the swordsman line technically is from both genes, but the Roronoa side was already a swordsman. I like that aspect of it.
Yeah. Let's move on, guys.
I had one other thing I wanted to say, but
Yeah.
Just real quick, somebody, I saw this on Instagram. They were talking about the epithets or lineage or whatever of people, and they were saying that the Straw Hats 3 commanders, the way that the Yonkos all get commanders and stuff, titles, could be based off of their mother's names. So Sanji's would be the son of the sky because Sora is sky in Japanese. Zoro would be the son of the earth because Terra can be translated to earth or whatever in Japanese. And then Jinbei's always been the son of the sea. And then Luffy obviously is the sun god. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know if it's something that Oda's going to put into the story. I just thought it was something that we should point out. But I like that.
Yeah. I'm probably going to fly past a couple of these.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll talk about it real quickly and then we'll just move on. So Oda was presented with Hiyori's speech, and someone asked him if her speech meant to all Kurozumi, since it was revealed that O-Tama's full name was Kurozumi O-Tama. And then he responded, obviously not. If you paid attention to her story, you would understand she's referring to Orochi alone in the singular.
Mm-hmm.
How did you guys feel about that one?
And we talked about this on the pod when the chapter dropped about like the phrasing could be more powerful than Oda realized.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he needed to clear it up in an SBS, like, to me just signifies that we were right. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, I just like the fact that we got the confirmation about her being a Kurozumi. What I didn't like, I preferred her being one of Orochi's, like, kids.
Mm-hmm.
Just randomly. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like that a little better. But whatever. I won't harp on this for too long. I think it's funny that we talked about, like, yo, Oda, you got to be careful with how you phrasing that. That seems pretty bigotry, kind of genocidal.
Yeah.
And for it to come up that way was just kind of funny to me. So
Yeah. Law?
No, I agree with Sebastian. It's like I said, he could have hit a little deeper, like meaning with that, because of how they viewed the Shimosuke. Because also with Tom, I think it's basically like we know about it, but it seems like most of Wano doesn't know where she comes from. It's kind of hidden, you know. So, and she's a kid, so it looks like she's like, does she even know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the fact that she does know, it could feel like, for example, where that you could have a little deeper thing with that with her and like Wano. But the fact that we got information, but most of Wano doesn't know, and she may not even know. It's kind of like lost there because there's nothing to do with it. Because who's gonna find it out? Oh, she's from that clan. We know it, but who would give that information out?
Yeah.
Like, you know, the only person maybe is Odin's father because he's still alive, and he is most likely the one that may know that. But does he know that? You know. So there's a side here that could be added to here, but since Oda didn't have that information there, it's kind of like, oh, we just know about it, but there's nothing really you can do with it.
one other thing I wanted to say about that: shout out to Tama for living Sasuke's backstory and not going that route. All right,
She's still young.
shout out to her.
Yeah. All Oda could have done was just say Orochi was born to burn, bro.
Yo, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I
it.
mean,
Yeah.
but
That's really all I gotta say, bro.
The pun on the name, the Cole, whatever, but whatever.
Yeah.
He could have been done
Don't care.
that. That's the point, though.
But
Yeah, the pun landed
Pun
badly.
landed very poorly.
Yeah,
Yeah, it landed poorly. Also, shout out to Tama. Next was probably the Chopper situation, which was another point out from people that was an issue for Wano. Basically, Oda says that currently Chopper does not have yet the medical capability to make medicine that can reverse the smile laughing effects. Oda says there are things we can't do anything about in this world, but believes that the people of Wano will pull through. So basically, he just said that Chopper wasn't able to do anything for them because he doesn't have the medical experience, or it's just not possible. So how did that land on you guys? And we'll start with Seb.
Okay, so and I talked about this on the pod before. I had no issue with Chopper not curing the smile. I like that he didn't. My issue is that they never showed him reacting to not being able to. I feel like there was something we could have gotten from Chopper having that moment where it's like, yo, I'm a doctor, these people are suffering, and I don't have anything that I can do to help them. It would have made Chopper's role in the story a little deeper, and anything that he did on Onigashima would have been probably more stake-filled, where it's like, at least I could do this for them. I just think it was a miss in that regard, where we could have gotten the emotion, the depth, I don't know, the drama even, just the stakes. Like, yo, Chopper's doing, like, he can't do this. Seeing him struggle trying to make something for this and it not working. And he could have even had, like, Killer or something as a test dummy or whatever, as a volunteer. Like, you could have gotten a little, it might have dragged a little bit there, but, like, I don't know. I feel like just seeing Chopper in this state where it's like, yo, I'm this amazing doctor and I can't do anything for these people. I have Law here with me and we can't do anything for these people. It could make what Chopper might do in Egghead think back to that. You know what I mean? Because he was able to help the kids on Punk Hazard and then reference them to Vegapunk, right? Where it's like, yo, I couldn't help these people. Vegapunk helped me help them. I don't know. I just feel like we could have gotten more. And I feel like, to Larry's point throughout this pod, that's been the theme of Wano. We could have and probably should have gotten more.
Yeah.
But that's me. That's just how I feel about the Chopper thing. So.
Love.
Yeah, and I'm gonna agree with you because also too, what I'm noticing is it's a little different. I would say a little missing in One Piece is that the two dreams that get highlighted the most, or maybe we focus on the most, is Luffy and Zoro's, right? But each Straw Hat has like a dream, but we don't see them kind of like battling against it or battling for it like we do with Luffy and Zoro. Like, for example, you mentioned Chopper struggling with this. His dream is to be a doctor that could cure every single illness or disease, right? So now you have this one that was kind of like makeshift, man-made or whatever, but that still, in a way, kind of counts because it affects mankind negatively, right? Going to a Chopper having that struggle was like, I have to account for possible future ones that may exist too. Like the Oni, that was man-made, created by Queen. He was able to find something for that. But then realizing I may not be able to cure other was like, no, I need to try harder, right? Because one's could pop up that may be out of my depth. So what I got to learn to grow in is understanding the struggle is actually a lot harder to achieve this dream than it is. Like, we see Luffy struggling hard to become the Pirate King. We see Zoro struggling hard to become the world's greatest swordsman. But we don't really see any other strats struggling to try to achieve their dream. By having this moment here, like Sebastian was mentioning, could play more to like, don't forget about their dreams and how much they're striving for it. Because it's like, all right, my dream is this, but I'm just supporting Luffy, but my dream is kind of in the background.
Yeah.
Zoro's only dream is like, my dream is in the forefront while I'm doing Luffy's, right? But all of them like they're all in the back end. It's barely even mentioned. Like Nami, she wants to be a navigator to create a world map of a map that covers the entire world. That's barely even mentioned. We heard it once and then like never really again. Same thing with Chopper and Opal. Sometimes is mentioned more. Yeah. But it's still in the back end. And I think like that could bring up because their dreams were important. It was more like you couldn't join the Straw Hats unless you had a dream, right? But now all the dreams are in the back end to Luffy's, whereas Zoro's the only one's like, no, my dream is still in the forefront. So I think it's important that also they want to achieve their dreams too, because Luffy's also to support his friends to make his dreams. So it's like Luffy's like, I'm becoming the Pirate King, but I'm also going to support your dreams as well. And you actively seeing that, I feel like could have been more for the fans for us to appreciate in One Piece if we got that. And by not doing this with Chopper, I feel like all the other dreams you kind of forget about, you know, unless you keep it in mind yourself.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I think you hit it right, the head right on the nail. I think also it's we have 3 of the 4 greatest doctors in the show on Wano.
Who's the 4th?
Kureha. Yeah. Literally, Marco, Chopper, and then we got Law. And not once did all 3 of them do anything in order to address the Smile situation where Law was actually knowledgeable of Smile fruits. So it's like, it was a miss, and it could have added tension to Chopper's his character development, which we didn't get. And that's the point of Wano, right? This is the point that I've always explained since Wano was first talked about when we started on chapter 10-15 of episode 1 of this show, was that there's not enough of stakes within Wano. It doesn't feel overwhelming. Nobody's really passing on the other side, on the good guy side, right? Like, nobody took a real L except the people that weren't a part of the alliance, really, like Izo. And then we have the other guy that was a scabbard.
Yeah, Ashura-doji.
Yeah. But realistically, like, there was no stakes. Like, we just knew things were going to work out somehow.
And the other part of it is, because you just talked about it, right? Something that just hit me. Like, Law has deep knowledge of Smile. He was on Punk Hazard for a long time. And Chopper knows that. Like, if this is happening, you could even get a deep moment between Law and Chopper. Yeah. Where Chopper's like, yo, Law, help me. And he's like, yo, there's nothing we can do. I've tried. You know what I mean? Like Marco, help me. And it's like, yo, bro, what you want me to do? My flames are temporary. Like, you could have got that scene.
Yeah.
And we would have been like dope. Like, what has Chopper done outside? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we joke and say he's merch now. That was a potential for like a real character moment for him.
Yeah.
Realizing, Lawrence said, bringing his dream to the forefront, and him realizing, yo, this is harder than ever to do it. And
that would have been just really nice.
Yeah.
It would have been really nice.
we could have watched a full episode of Scrubs.
And
you
the
know what I'm
only
saying?
and the other thing too to connect to that would be if they were to try it on anybody, why not try it on Killer?
Right.
Yeah.
Like Killer would be the perfect one because he's still important, and it would show that maybe he's being held back a little bit during like the Kaido fight and Big Mom, like whatever he was fighting, because he was dealing with the side effects still.
Right. And he would step up and do it because it's Killer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He wants to help out Killer. And then us going into this fight with Shanks, we would still be like, they're still going to get trashed. But like Killer is actually somebody super formidable, where he just doesn't get one shot by Zoro, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Because Zoro's fighting two people at the same time.
Yeah.
It just would have made sense. And, you know, there was also something stated that Oda yelled at one of his editors because his editors didn't like a certain part of Wano, like towards the end. And he yelled at him. He was like, yo, you should have spoke up. And it's like, this is what I've always said to people, like, yes, you can like the story of One Piece. It is beautiful. It's always going to be beautiful. But there are going to be times where he stumbles. And, like, he stumbled on probably the most important arc, and that's okay. But it's all right for us to be like, yo, that could have been better. And that's it.
You can hold your favorite mangaka to a standard that he himself has set.
Always said it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He set the standard.
Exactly.
So you expect him to live up to it.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
But yeah, man, that's basically the SBS in total, guys. Sorry we went a little bit overboard with it. What we're going to do is we're going to hit the sponsor. We're going to do super chats and stuff, and then we're going to get into the phone calls immediately, okay? So, Marv, hit the sponsor, please. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Have you been struggling lately? Maybe you're having trouble sleeping, difficulty with a relationship, or just struggling from low self-esteem. Listen, I've been there. We've been there. If so, then today's BetterHelp wants to help you. BetterHelp offers licensed therapists who are trained to listen and help you. Talk to your therapist in a private, online environment at your own convenience. There is a broad range of expertise in BetterHelp's 20,000 plus therapist network that gives you access to help that may not be available in your area. You just fill out a questionnaire, simple as that, to help assess your specific needs. And then you get matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Then you schedule a secure video and phone sessions. Plus, you can exchange unlimited messages and everything you share is completely confidential. I happened to sign up at one point regarding my confidence issues. Next thing you know, my confidence issues are not issues anymore. I'm doing pretty well in that area. You can request a new therapist at no additional charge anytime. Join the 2 million plus people who have taken charge of their mental health with an experienced BetterHelp therapist. Special offer goes out to all that One Piece Talk listeners. You get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/TOPT. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/TOPT. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. You know what I will say too, because you just brought that up? We're in Egghead now, and organoids are being brought up, and like the ability of disease being cured through organ transplant and stuff like that. That's seeming possible. Like that's bringing up the medical field for Chopper again. And Dr. Vegapunk only is able to create those things, I believe, because of the lineage factor itself. Now, if he dealt with the smile fruits, he would then have some at least knowledge from Wano about how these organs are probably made, and would be able to be like, oh, this is what I was experiencing in Wano. Maybe I could learn even more about how to maybe cure that smile devil fruit side effect.
Yeah.
That would have hit, bro. I would have been like, yo, like if we got that in that panel where Chopper saw the organoids instead of just being surprised by it, bro, that would have been legendary. I would have been like, bro, this adds to Egghead now. Yeah. But anyway, let's go to Super Chats.
Yeah, we got a couple Super Chats sitting. We got a $2 Super Chat from Mike Super 17. It says Seb shirt VS Pink. I don't know what that means exactly.
He said Victoria's Secret.
Is it? Oh, hey. Anyway.
You should show him your thong.
I should show the underwear that. Anyway, it says hashtag Magneto never got electrocuted. I don't know what that's a reference to. I might have missed that one.
Well, he Big Mom hit Kid with Indra.
Oh,
and
okay.
Magneto can put up like a electromagnetic field.
Magneto would have been able to deal with Big Mom. I gotta think about that one. But thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
We got another $5 from Locks Pirates. It says, do you think it's possible that Blackbeard is getting his information / planning from 𝙭𝐂𝐿? I think that derives from a theory that O'Hara put out a while back.
I'd say no.
Yeah, I would say no too.
𝙭𝐂𝐿 would fight Blackbeard, bro.
Yeah, I don't. It would have to be a situation where 𝙭𝐂𝐿's manipulating Blackbeard.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be like just allied with him or whatever. Nah. He would have to be like taking the reins of that situation, or at least thinking he is. You know.
What 𝙭𝐂𝐿 said, was that part of the movie or the anime, where he was like talking to Whitebeard and he said, "These people don't know the seas we went through back then, and I'm gonna show them." Right?
I think it was both.
Both?
Technically, because it was in Chapter 0, but I don't know how canon. Like, it's canon, but like, is 𝙭𝐿 coming back for real?
Because I
hope so.
Because if 𝙭𝐿 has that mindset, why would he help Blackbeard? Because he's gonna view him as part of that scene, not his scene.
Yeah. But thank you so much. We got another $10 super chat from Oz the Phenom. It says, "We in this bit." As always, Oz. It says, "Working late, boys, but still with the vibes. Much love." Thank you so much, Oz.
Thank you, Oz.
Thank you.
Every
Appreciate
week, bro. Thank you.
Yeah,
and that's it.
All the soups for now.
All right. Let's hit that number. Everybody, we're throwing a number up in the chat. If you want to call, please do. And let's hear something you have to say.
Yeah, man. If y'all haven't already, please like the stream. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. We got 160 y'all in here right now, but only 48 likes. So please, hit us with a like.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, man.
I'm ready for calls, man. Yeah, I was on one last week. I was on one. I was in the hotel like, yo, they wild.
Hey, what's going on? This is Larry from That One Piece Talk. Who are you and how are you?
Yo, this is Terrence.
Hey, what's up, Terrence? How's it going, brother?
Terrence?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Doing well. What's your question, man?
Yeah. Before I get to that, I gotta say, Larry, sometimes you gotta revel in your W's. You know what I mean?
Oh, I have been. I have been.
Yeah, for sure. And I enjoy it. When y'all reacted, when you and Chester reacted to the last chapter, and you was like, "Yo, I told y'all, bum." Larry tell.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah.
So what's up?
I gotta ask y'all something. It's about this will be kind of quick, and I might ask something else.
You gotta ask one question.
I got you.
Yeah.
This guy, I gotta say. Actually, this is one that's a little bit more. I'm a little more curious about this one. I've been thinking, they might reintroduce Doflamingo to the story. Who knows? I thought potentially he was going to be a part of the Cross Guild. I was a little disappointed that he wasn't. Especially since how they do the little hints or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when the chapter came out for the Cross Guild, they was hitting that Doflamingo would be a part of it when he wasn't. I was like, damn. But what if Doflamingo gets out of prison? And y'all watch, right? You know how Frieza got stronger in hell because of mental training, like image training, mental concentration, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. What if hockey works in a similar way, where Doflamingo has gotten stronger in prison, and it's because of he's been focusing on his hatred and mental concentration for the people who put him there. You know what I mean? And if the Cross Guild comes and breaks him out, and he got a stronger hockey. Well, how would y'all feel about that?
You basically just copied the Bullet movie.
Yeah, I mean, so I would love for Dofi to get out. Obviously, he's one of my favorite characters. I just don't know where he fits in the line of where One Piece is supposed to go towards the end of the series. Crocodile was able to have a relative reform where he can just be a relatively tame pirate who does things to, boost his own status and stuff. I don't know if Dofi's that kind of guy, bro. You know what I mean? I don't know if he can like I can fully see him getting stronger and everything. But is he gonna like play nice? You know, like he maybe he's the key to beating the world government in the end, which I would like. Maybe he links up with the revolutionaries to tell them the secret that people have theorized in the past. When I think of Doflamingo, obviously everybody's been getting this bump when they return to the story, but what role will he play that's not too, because he's not a Yonko. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's not strong enough to really be that big of a factor, even if he gets a bump. But, like, he's not the kind of guy who's just going to play nice or deal with whatever, you know? So, I don't know. I really don't know about Doflamingo. So, I don't know what y'all.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. The thing is, really, even with Crocodile and Mihawk, Crocodile says a lot of times, I don't trust anyone. And even when he made the proposal to Mihawk, you're like, we both don't trust anyone. You know what I mean? So like, and then so it's why like you need trust or to play nice or whatever to form an alliance with the Cross Guild at least, and then. Those Flamingos wanted to work with Crocodile before. He wanted to make an alliance with Crocodile before, and obviously Crocodile turned it down at the time. Yeah. But ultimately, at the end of the day, they're over there trying to make this whole little organization and everything. And Doflamingo, he's got he knows what he's doing in that business. He had some connections. He was successful. He was the most successful on the ground broker for years. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like when they took him down, it turned the world upside down.
Yeah, I think he could be a seamless fit in Cross Guild.
So I think Doflamingo, he could possibly get stronger and then put down, but that's because obviously his business is gonna be shunned. He would have to focus on his hockey. But is he the type to train and do that? That I don't know, because he's been catered a lot of his life. Yeah, he went through some struggle, but. I don't know if he has that drive to keep going forward, because basically he just wanted that. I know he wants to be part of the world scene because the newspaper he asked for, so he wants to keep updated.
Like he seemed interested enough with just learning about how he likes to throw it in the world government's face that y'all think taking me out helps when it doesn't, right? Like y'all just messed up, and I'm gonna revel in the fact that y'all killed yourselves when I was the one protecting y'all low key. Yeah, but. I don't know. Yeah,
and I don't see. Even if he did get out, he's the type of person that he's a Conqueror's user, and he likes to be very involved with stuff. I don't see him taking a backseat underneath anybody. Like, even if he joined the Cross Guild, he would have to recognize that he's not going to be the top person there, and he wouldn't accept that. And I don't think Crocodile knows that, and he wouldn't work because we can't trust him because he's going to try to control everything. That's really his nature with the ability to. He wants to hear everything. He wants to control everything. Even in his mind, he kind of thought he had a little bit of control over what's happening with the Yonko's merchandise, you know? So, and then I don't see Crocodile and Mihawk trusting him at all, because Doflamingo is very selfish. He's going to do what's good for him. And they're business-wise, that can affect them. So, so I don't see Crocodile or Mihawk working with him, because it's just like, nah, this dude, he's going to have his own agenda. He's going to work it no matter what. That's going to probably end up screwing him over or putting him on top. We see him do that countless times.
Yeah. To be fair, though.
Yeah. Well, Terrence.
Crocodile and Mihawk don't trust anybody.
Yeah. We appreciate the call, man. Seriously.
Yeah, thank you, Terrence.
What, I ain't going to get a Larry's thing?
Oh, yeah.
I forgot.
I thought I won him already. Oh, maybe I said it in my mind.
Okay, go ahead.
He gets stronger. He's trapped in sea stone cuffs. Bullet proved that, so his hockey would definitely be stronger. He's not Mihawk or Crocodile. He's not gonna go under Buggy. He's too much of a bigger conqueror than they are. And that's really it, I think. Also, he's very much an Enel type character. I think where they were in the story was where they were gonna shine the brightest. I don't think they have a role to play in the future at all. So him and Enel are in the same boat. Even though I want them both to come back, they wouldn't fit what's going on now.
I feel you.
Yeah.
It's just more so hopeful thinking. I would like if he was a part of the Cross Guild, like the three, Crocodile, Mihawk, and Doflamingo.
Nah,
I think
nah.
it'll be good.
He would
me
build his.
personally, but
He'd build his own cross guild. Like that's how much of a big timer he is in comparison to like Crocodile and Buggy. The only reason Buggy
sure,
where
but
he
he's
at
glad
right
to work
now-
with Crocodile before. So, you know.
Yeah, but as Crocodile is his underling.
Yeah, like he would never have anybody like as Buggy be above him. He already knows. he doesn't want to be in the spotlight, right? But he'd make sure that his own means was to provide himself that he wouldn't be in the spotlight. He wouldn't go under somebody like Buggy in order to get that resource that these two characters desperately need, even though everyone considers them high contenders for some reason.
I don't think Crocodile needs it. I think that, Buggy, that just happened because of his followers and shit. You know what I mean?
He needed
it.
it.
And they just decided to go along with it just to have a figurehead.
Bro, he needed it, bro. He went out and sought it. That's a need. He could have just chilled out.
I don't know about that.
But,
okay.
All right.
I feel you.
Terrence,
Yeah,
enjoy your night, man. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the question. Thank you for the call.
Thank you, Terrence.
Welcome,
All right. Talk to you later. Jana.
man.
Yeah. Next caller. Yeah, man. There's no way.
I can see it.
Hell no.
He'd be like, yo, this dude's
Yeah,
the head.
we both
He
love
would
Dofy.
immediately start clowning like Mihawk.
But he knows that Buggy's not the real head.
Hey, what's going on? This is Liar from that One Piece Talk. Who are you and how are you?
No shot. Yo, it's JT from the Discord.
Hey, JT, what's up, bro?
How are you, bro?
What's up, y'all? I've been trying to get in this call for so long.
And you got it. What's up?
I finally get to talk to my boy Lauren. What up, Lauren?
Hey, what's up? What's up? What's going on, JT?
Lord, JT be on the DDT every week, man. He be killing it.
Oh, yeah?
He be wilding, though. He be a contrarian.
Great to hear from you.
What's
So,
up?
I mean, yeah, like I said, so first question on One Piece related is Lawrence, when are we going to get you in the DDT again?
He was supposed to come because he had time, but he decided not to.
He decided not to.
Yep.
Last week.
Yeah. So don't let him fool you at all with whatever he's about to say.
But usually the days don't match up with my schedule. And yes, last week, I was more over to it, but it ended up not happening. But
Yeah.
yeah, the day's tough for me.
I'm glad you were honest.
We just got to line it up where it works for him and Lionel.
Because that timing wise, I have something that I have to go to.
Yeah.
I have a meeting. But yeah, that's why.
All right. The actual question?
All right. So I think I've asked this as a super chat before, but we're going to run it back. So, who is the most overrated character in One Piece, and who is the most underrated character in One Piece?
I feel like it changes for me every
Yeah, it depends on the period of
yeah,
One Piece.
Yeah.
So it was Marco for a long time, the most overhyped.
Yes.
And I think right now it's Kid.
I was going to agree with you on the Kid thing right now. Because people act like he can really beat Shanks right now.
And then the most underhyped, probably say Big Mom currently.
That's a good answer.
Say Big Mom. I don't know the other time periods, but I would say Big Mom right now.
If we're talking straight up power scaling, I think the most overrated in my experience recently was Lucci. Because people were putting him above admirals and stuff. Like, yo, it was insane, bro. It was insane, bro. I was like, yo, this is impossible.
The only reason I didn't say Lucci is because the Kid thing got brought back up again.
Yeah. As far as most underrated, I don't know. I really don't. I want to say Frankie, just cause like, dude didn't even power up and beat a Toby Robo. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he legit beat like one of Kaido's top 10 and was like, yo, I could have did this at Fishman Island, low key. Like, I could have if I needed to. So I'll go with Frankie. Just, I know it's a not exciting answer, but I couldn't think of anybody else. So.
Law.
I feel like you guys took the two good ones of the overrated.
I mean, you could just say the same
Who's
thing.
overrated to you, bro?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You don't have to say something.
If they saying that's crazy, I didn't hear about because the Kid thing is just ridiculous. You're gonna learn, but if you're saying that, you're gonna learn. I had no idea people were saying that Rob Lucci's above Admiral level.
I thought it was trolling, but
that's
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense because you legit just saw him get beat down by Luffy, and Luffy was just playing around. Like, come on, I can't. And he was about to get knocked out, and they were fighting for like what 3 minutes? Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's your overhyped character?
Yeah.
Underhyped?
Underhyped. I feel like I'm wrong, but I keep thinking Law for some reason.
It's not bad to think Law.
It's not bad.
It's because of the Kid and Law argument.
It's like they instantly group Kid with him. I'm falling victim. I've done it.
Yeah.
I've seen me do it. We've argued about it. So yeah.
We've debated.
We've argued.
Yeah. What about you, JT?
So yeah, I was actually thinking about Law for my overhyped. I guess when we talk about like overhyped and underhyped, I think it really depends on like the community that we're in. Me personally, I think that this certain like the top C community, I think that there's a lot of Jack overhype in the Discord. People are saying that he's like underrated and he's like all that, but I actually think that Jack is an absolute trash can. So that's just, yeah.
In our community, in our Discord, I can think of like two people specifically that think Jack is anything. Like,
hey, look, I've heard the Jack overhype, so I'm gonna just say Jack. But no, I'd say Law is another good one. I think he has some of the most broken devil fruits, and he's still kind of on Kid's level. So I don't know. In terms of underhyped, I think there's a bunch of characters. One I would say all the admirals I think are underhyped. I think people don't give them the respect that they deserve, especially not a Kainu.
Green Bull was the one.
I would also. Yeah, Green Bull too, because I think that Shanks is top one, so I think that it wasn't fair that Green Bull had to go against Shanks, but yeah.
Yeah.
But another underhyped one.
He had to go against Momo. Crazy.
He was good with the Momo thing.
Yeah, keep going.
Hey, but another underhyped, the one person I think that is probably the most slept on character that no one even thinks about is my boy Prime King Neptune, okay? That boy, I think he could ball out. I think that he could be him. We didn't really see anything of him, but
I'm gonna tell you this right now. He's not too far off because what Gold Roger said. Gold Roger mentioned, and I think Whitebeard, because one, you gotta think about it. I think you're onto something.
They said that they were just friends, him and Whitebeard.
No. Right? Remember when Neptune was like scared about something, right? Gold Roger says, Neptune, there's someone like you, right? That you're scared of something, like there's something that has you on edge. Gold Roger says this, right? He says that there's something that, like your caliber person, your strength, there's someone like you that's actually scared of something. If Gold Roger's saying this, who knows? He knows if you want to come see me, you got to send like Sengoku and Garp. But he's acknowledging that what would have someone like you kind of on your O's and edge of where, remember, because he almost attacked Roger. It's like, oh, that's just you. He's like, yo, it's me, your boy. Like, what's going on here? But he said there's someone like you that was on edge. Even though we saw him, which is kind of weird because we see him Luffy's era, he looked weak as heck to me. But in his prime wise, his strength was enough to like get Roger's attention. Was what I'm trying to say. That he acknowledged it. So I thought the same thing. Actually, that was a good one to me. Larry just like nah.
I got nothing, bro. His sons were trash.
Yeah.
He didn't do much. He didn't seem that old.
He was older.
Nah. His back was hurting. He was like on my back when he tried to do a strong attack.
No, because he was the old age affection where he couldn't do anything. He was at that old age where he couldn't fight anymore.
My man is a fish.
So is Jim.
I'm not coming at him for being a fish.
He uses his back to swim and move.
Listen, bro. Listen.
It just goes even further that fishermen don't go hard, bro.
Yo.
That's it.
If you look at how old some of these people in One Piece are,
exactly.
Still dominating.
Yeah.
Like,
especially people of his caliber, if you think he's underhyped because Roger gave him some respect. He should have been way better than he is right now, bro.
Bro, if Roger was putting any level of stamp on this man's name, Hoodie would have got washed in seconds. Seconds.
Absolute seconds.
But nah, you can't say that.
Yes,
you
can.
He's in the hoodie. His back. It was bad. He's got a bad back.
Garp with a bad back is washing Hoodie in seconds, bro. Yeah. And he gonna be like, my back. Like,
but we're not saying he like rocks and Whitebeard level.
You don't need to be rocks and Whitebeard level to wash Hoodie.
I'm pretty sure Big Mom has high cholesterol.
Yo, right? Like, she got gout. She got health issues, bro.
For sure.
You know what she don't? She pretty mobile for a big girl. She pretty mobile.
Hey, Kaido asked her. Is your core still good?
He said, how that hip? How that hip? But all right, JT. I appreciate the call,
Yeah,
man.
thank
Neptune,
you,
bro.
Neptune, bro. Those are good answers, though. That was a good question.
It was.
Yeah. Thank you, JT.
Catch y'all later.
All right,
see you
catch you
later.
later.
Old age affects you in One Piece.
Oh my
alright?
God, bro. Rayleigh out here knocking out. I can't, bro. Neptune, bro.
No, that's a good take.
Like Rayleigh's, he not a fisherman. He swam across the combo
Yeah.
Bro,
and was like, "Sup."
put it this way,
But
bro.
we talking about
Put it
Neptune?
this way. You know, I'm not gonna say because I don't know what Crocus can do, but I feel like Crocus would have been able to deal with it.
Hey, what's going on? This is Larry from That One Piece Talk. Who are you and how are you? Also, you gotta mute the stream.
Mute the stream, please.
Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we
Yes,
can
sir.
hear you.
Oh, perfect. All right, I got a question, but I want to know: are there any limits on the question, like no recent chapters or anything?
You could do
No
everything.
spoilers. If there's a spoiler in your question,
Yeah,
please
like
no.
no chapter 1077 spoilers.
Well, I just have a question about the recent chapter, like 176. Is that off
Oh,
topic or no?
oh no, that's on topic. That's cool, bro.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Oh, hold on,
what
what's
I was
your
gonna
name?
Say what?
What's your name?
Oh, Josh. Nice to meet everyone. Josh Kidd.
Oh, nice to meet you,
Josh.
Josh. Thank you for calling, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, who do you think has it hardest right now? Luffy, Law, or Kid?
We brought this up on the Discord too. I don't know if you saw the thread,
No,
Larry.
I didn't.
Oh man.
Very interesting question. I would definitely say, I want to say Kid because of how overwhelming the force is with Shanks, but I'm gonna go with Law, and I'm gonna go with Law because, he's focused solely. His strength is on his ability. There's not a lot of hockey aspects to him besides what we've seen with him reversing Doc Q's womanly disease. So his hockey doesn't seem to be that advanced or extreme. He doesn't have Future Sight that we know of. He doesn't have Rio that we know of. He doesn't have any of these extracurricular hockeys. So his Devil Fruit is the course of everything, right? Like, that's how he uses Rio. That's how he's able to affect and shambles people and move and, you know, just have this huge arsenal of everything that he can do. His Devil Fruit is literally top 2 in a verse, if we're being real. But the fact that Blackbeard can negate the Devil Fruit or take it away, that's very hard for somebody that doesn't really have a crew outside of himself. Even though Shanks is like that guy to me, and he has the Giants and he has his whole crew with him versus, you know, Kid at least won't have his ability taken away where he does rely on it. So in my opinion, it's going to be Law, and I think that's the right answer, but it's not the favorable answer.
I've been back and forth on this with all three of them because I think there's an argument to be made for each of them. It really depends on whether you think the Gorosei are strong or not. Because
Which they aren't.
who knows? But it's like Luffy does have his crew, and he does have the help of the Vegapunks. But it's like he's fighting multiple Seraphim. He's fighting CP0. I mean, now CP0 is helping him, whatever. But like CP0, whatever. An Admiral's coming with whatever potentially is coming with the Gorosei. I think Luffy is a valid answer. I don't think he's the right answer. With Law, it really depends on who else is here, right? Because like he drew the short stick. He's fighting Blackbeard and his crew with his relatively weak crew, and like Larry pointed out, his whole thing is his Devil Fruit versus a team that can take that away. But he does potentially have reinforcements with Garp coming, right? So
But that's like besides the fact. Like if they weren't there, that's not.
But
that's
it's
not,
there.
Yo, but we can't count on that.
I'm saying I don't know. It depends on what the fact. Like what is
He's saying
Garp gonna help you,
bro? His question was, who has it the hardest?
It depends.
But you're basing it on like outside forces intervening. But that you're counting that already. That's basically you have to take the outside forces out of it. That's
Hold
the
on,
question.
but even inside forces. Okay, I take Garp away. Is Aokiji there? I don't know,
Wait,
but
you're
he
saying-
could be.
Yeah.
So you're saying that Garp's gonna help Law, or I heard Garp. I was making sure I heard you right.
Yeah, I'm saying
He's saying if we consider Garp coming to help Law, if that's the case, then Law's not going to have it as hard as we think he's going to have it.
Like,
which he's adding more to the question than what you said.
Maybe I am, but I'm just saying it. To me, that plays a little bit of a factor because if Kid is fighting Shanks in his territory with all of these people on Shanks' side, and it's Shanks, his whole crew, and I don't have any reinforcements whatsoever. The answer has to be Kid.
No, because if you apply that same logic, then that means that somehow the Giants or Loki's going to read the newspaper and know that Kid ended up defeating Big Mom so that you wouldn't have a harder case.
It might.
But the thing is, again, you're adding all these extra like speculative curriculums to this when he's not asking that. He's asking who has a harder time in their situation right now. That's it. Like,
so, I'm going to go Kid. I'm okay. I'm okay.
All right.
Law?
One, just to clarify what you're saying, Sebastian, there is no guarantee at all that Garp would help Law. Like, one, Garp hates pirates. Two, all he's trying to go is to get back Kobe. If Blackbeard gives up Kobe without a fight, you know, like pretty much lost that situation.
I get that. I get that.
And also, they're all pirates. What if Blackbeard's like, I'm just gonna round you all up? You know what I'm saying? Like pretty much just knows that the only is like, oh, you helped out my grandson, but I don't think he's gonna do that.
But I was playing both sides with it. It depends. If I have to fight Garp and Blackbeard, and that's not helping, it would be Law. 100%. You get what I'm saying? That was my point.
Law's at a big disadvantage because like I feel like he has to compensate for his crew. So he's gonna be a lot of even though it show decently, but he's gonna be protecting his crew mostly because Jesus Berg is there.
Bro, the point is, we don't even know if he's going to get there in time.
Yeah.
Like, that's the question. Like, for example, Luffy has the CP9. Yeah. We know that Kizaru's, like, literally near the island with Saturn. It's like, that's possible. We don't even know if Garp getting there in time is possible. You're just speculating that he's going to get there and somehow intervene into the fight. Like, just say, like, who you think is going to have the hardest based on what's happening right now. That's his question.
Yeah. And
you always do this. This is the whole dragon situation all over again.
And
what did you say, Law?
Yeah, so for Kid wise, honestly, what he's going by what they're up against, right? I think I'm gonna choose Kid because they said that Shanks' Grand Fleet is there, right? Maybe not all of it, but a lot of it, and they're all on his side, even if you want to count the 𝐿𝐴𝐵, right? And also too, I hold strength wise, I'm having a heavy factor into my decision. I view Shanks way above Blackbeard, right? So, and I also think like Shanks could be I think he's one of the people that he's very cutthroat and you do not want to anger. Kid seems like he's probably going to annoy Shanks or anger him by either civilians attacking or doing something that, Shanks wasn't the one that took his arm, but it shows that like how cutthroat even the people who are associated with him are, right? So I feel like Kid's going to do something to like get Shanks angry or just annoy him enough to like where I'm going to not be serious, but I'm going to put you down for good. Not necessarily kill him, but like that. So I think with all this going on, Kid has like no hope to me. That's what like Kid has no hope. The chance is at 0 for me for Kid to do really anything. That's what I'm going against. Where Law, he's good enough to like at least fight Blackbeard. Where Kid is not good enough to fight Shanks at all. So that's why I feel like going by to me I would say Law Circumstance, but Kid is just it's Kid. Yeah. So I'm gonna go Kid has the worst of it.
What about you, bro? What do you think?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, just to be real quick, so I think I heard everyone's answer. So the first person said Luffy, and then the next two said Kid, right?
No, we all went Kid.
No, I said Law.
Yeah. Oh, you said Law.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Law, then Kid, right?
Yeah.
Okay, honest to God, well, first I just want to say is I appreciate y'all actually going extra, including the Garp stuff, because I wasn't even thinking about that.
Thank you. Told you.
I'm okay with you
adding
the extra stuff. That's what makes these kind of conversations fun, like when you think outside the box.
Yeah.
But if I had to say who has it hardest and who has the easiest, I think, honest to God, Luffy has the easiest because he's already gotten the allies of a CP9. Or sorry, CP0, and that's obviously going to change later in the arc. But I think for right now, he does have it the easiest since he pretty much has allies throughout the whole country.
All right, and the hardest?
And the hardest is Kid because I'm I'm still confirming whether or not the Giants are going to play a role in the fight. But even without the Giants, that's Shanks' whole crew and some of his allies versus just Kid, and they already got decimated once. So it's not looking really fair for Kid. If the Giants are included, then that's just not fair. Like, Oda has to actually give him a power-up.
Bro, if it was just Shanks and Kid and his entire crew, they'd still get wiped.
It would still be a difficult fight, but it's just adding salt in the wound by adding the Giants and the allies.
He could just leave. That's the other part of it where I was like about to be like, yo, he got it the easiest because he could just go away.
Well,
if he wanted to be a punk.
No, he just go away. But do you think Shanks lets him leave without the poneglyph? So, oh, you want to leave now? No,
I mean,
leave that.
He'll let him. He's gonna let him leave if he turns over the poneglyph.
Oh, yeah,
he's not gonna turn that over.
Yeah. But I'm saying like, this kid tried to leave. Like, I'm just gonna bail out without giving the poneglyph. Like, I'm just gonna be out. I don't think Shanks lets him go. He goes, no,
so
you're leaving that
poneglyph. You got it. I mean, then we get into super fair battle.
Kid messed up, bro.
That's not on him, bro. What you want to do?
Kid messed up, bro.
Avoid the island.
I mean, I'm hoping. I'm hoping that Kid actually gets some form of advanced conquerors hockey like Luffy, just so he can stay like in the competition. Like maybe that might help him out against Shanks if he can do the same thing that Luffy was doing against Kaido.
You can pray, bro. It's not happening.
I mean, it's not crazy. He has conquerors hockey, so it's all up to Oda if he wants to give him it or not.
Yeah, Oda would have to give him it.
Yeah,
he wouldn't have to earn it.
I'm gonna be real, even with
not like that. I mean,
hockey.
give it to him. I mean, like in the same sense that he gave it to Luffy. Like they could both unlock it through hard work.
Yeah, Luffy's
like, Luffy
a
unlocked
genius.
It out of nowhere.
Yeah, Luffy's a genius at fighting. Kid's not.
And the play to that, just because you unleash, all right, I got a Conqueror's coding advance and I'm able to use it now, doesn't make it. You made the playing fields even.
Imagine Kid. Hold on. Imagine Kid doesn't ever knock anybody out with his Conquerors. He just starts using advanced Conqueror's coding. He just skips all the other levels.
I mean, I've seen wilder stuff. The thing about it is, even if he gets advanced Conqueror's hockey, like Luffy got advanced Conqueror's hockey, and then Kaido knocked him out.
Yeah.
Like within.
Yeah. It doesn't
a couple
even
seconds.
It doesn't
like,
even the playing
bro.
field. Yeah.
Okay, bro. Congrats.
That's true. That's very true. Yo, Kid, plot know me, bro.
It's about time for him. He needs. But Josh, I believe it was Josh, right?
Yeah, Josh.
All right, wait. Appreciate the call, man. Seriously.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
No problem. Thanks for having me on, y'all. I just want to say one more thing. Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, of course.
It was about Law's fight. Like, Law has it rough too, but essentially he can also escape Blackbeard since he's not there with the whole crew. Like, he could actually run away and escape the island. Like,
I don't know.
He's got difficult.
Van Auger has the warp, so like anywhere he goes,
it's not even that. They're on
but
an
Law
island.
has room. Like, Law can literally just do the same thing that the warp crew can do.
But they're on an island, right? And we don't know if Blackbeard's going to be able to affect the shambles aspect or the room aspect. Like, he could suck in the room, where it would take away from Law being able to use his abilities to like shamble people away. He might not be able to escape because of that. So if Blackbeard catches on and just sucks in Vortex the room, there's not a lot that Law can do after that. That's why it's so hard for him.
Fair point.
It's so hard for Law. Like, if he wasn't so Devil Fruit dependent, he Blackbeard isn't as strong as what Shanks is right now. Like, Blackbeard will get there eventually, because he's just narratively written to be that. But he's not there right now. But Law's in dire straits right now, man. It's really hard to. He has a lesser chance than Kid, in my opinion.
Really? You think Law has a worse chance than Kid, even though he's fighting half the Blackbeard crew?
Yeah, because
like
so like put it this way, like Killer, like Kid's crew is not, they're not just slouches. Like, Killer is very capable, right? Like, Killer is somebody that was on the rooftop. He can handle his own in a lot of aspects. He could probably create a diversion too for like Kid to escape and stuff like that. We don't have anybody on Law's crew that can do that. Beppo's not up there. Gene Bart is not up there. Like, these guys are like supposed to be the right hand and left hand basically, besides Penguin and the other guy, and they just don't have those capabilities unless they swim underwater with Kid and just swim him away.
You mean with Law?
Yeah, with Law. Sorry. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
So that's it for me. But yeah, man, thank you.
All right.
All
No
right.
problem. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate you answering my call.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for calling. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
All right, bye-bye.
It's cool to get first-time callers.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good one.
Yeah. Kids winning the poll in the YouTube chat.
Yeah.
There's an actor that kid is like Naruto.
Hey, what's going on? This is Larry from that One Piece. Oh, he hung up. All right.
Oh,
What
damn.
was the poll?
It was
Who drew the straw?
52. Yeah, who drew the shortest straw? Kid got 52%. Law got 29%. Luffy got 18%.
Well, that's because people don't believe in Kid, and obviously Shanks is Shanks.
Shanks gonna be Shanks always, bro.
Hey, what's going on? This is Larry from that One Piece talk. Who are you and how are you?
Hey, this is a Blazer.
Hey, what's going on, man? Is this your first time calling?
Yeah, it's my first time calling.
Hey, thank you for calling, man. Appreciate that. Glad to hear from you.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, what's your question?
So this one's actually due with the Red movie.
Okay.
And I just know that in a certain scene, Shanks actually lit his sword on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was kind of like wondering what you guys' opinion on that was. It have to do with like elemental hockey or whatnot.
I don't even remember that. I'll be honest.
Well, he did it. He did it against Kizaru. So my answer to that is, hockey is somewhat relatable to like devil fruits, and I believe that you can use hockey in weird ways, such as like Parvision saying elemental hockey, where the minks can create like electricity, or samurais can cut through fire, or fishmen can manipulate water, right? I think that relatively speaking, when you reach a certain level of hockey aspects, you can form hockey into doing certain things. And the basic analogy that I could make to that is like in Naruto, right? Where Sasuke was able to coat his sword in electricity because of his chakra. And Naruto was able to do it with the shuriken and create like the wind shurikens. I think that when you reach a certain level of hockey within the One Piece series, you're able to manipulate hockey to a degree, which then you can use to elevate your sword game or your punching fist game. Like your arsenal of attack prowess just goes up tremendously. Where like Shanks might have a sword, right? But he can add hockey to it, which would then extend the sword to a degree, and he'd be able to cut you with like hockey or something like that. So that makes sense as to why he can do stuff like that in the movie, in my opinion. But
yeah, and this is something that me and Lawrence might butt heads over because we argued about this, debated about this pretty recently, actually, as far as what is hockey and what's not. Me and Larry have always been subscribers to everything you see is just hockey, whether or not it's been taught as a different thing for generations and generations and years, like Fishman karate, the Rokushiki techniques, etc. To me and Larry forever, it's always just been hockey.
Yeah.
Hockey's been the explanation. It's just like different cultures have taught it as something else. So like
Sky Island had mantra.
Yeah. Now when you see like
Wano has
Rio or yeah. So like when you see things like people igniting their flames in lightning or fire or whatever, to me it's probably like Larry said, just hockey. It's just not explained yet. So if it's part of elemental hockey theory or just in general, like
Sanji using flames,
whatever it is, it's like ultimately probably just gonna be hockey because we saw people who weren't fishermen start utilizing fisherman karate. So like it's not a genetics thing. You know what I mean? Like it's not.
That's true.
It can be trained and taught to people the same way hockey can be trained and taught to people. So I don't know. That's how I've always viewed it. Lawrence is gonna. I can guarantee you, Lawrence is gonna push back on that. But that's how me and Larry viewed it. Whole lot of gang over here this way, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. Go ahead, Law.
One, I'm gonna go by. I believe what Larry was saying with the hockey manipulation and the elements. I kind of agree with that, and because I kind of thought similar lines even pre-time skip. I think we saw on the war, Marine War, someone have a fly sword and a lightning sword, and I think it was them manipulating hockey. And on Whitebeard's fleet, you had two people use that. I forgot who it was, but I swear I've seen it there. So I kind of always believe, and also I think I touched upon this before, where they mentioned like Luffy using rubber vocalization to harden his rubber, like with his hockey or something like that. So I believe that. But to believe that everything is hockey, I don't. Because they show that there's a martial arts styles in literally the One Piece world that have nothing to do with hockey. And I know Sebastian talks about like Fishman Karate, but then you see җimbei who's using Fishman Karate and hockey as separate things, right? And also too,
He don't know what he was taught.
No, pretty much also too. Like for example, I've noticed like Fishman Karate and the Wapo Navy, right? Don Chow's family, when they would use certain techniques, you would see these circle ripples, I guess, in the air from their attack, right? And then they'll use hockey outside it. So I believe that some things are hockey, right? But some things, martial arts or styles, are separate from hockey that you could also strengthen it with hockey. So I don't believe that every technique people are using is hockey. I believe that there is a martial arts training here. I don't believe that it's just hockey. So that's my take on that, where I differ with Sebastian. He's like, everything's hockey. I go, no. They clearly show there's a difference because the properties of those martial arts techniques and the properties of hockey are different, and they show that in the show. And then when you combine them, the same thing with like what җimbei used to knock out Who's Who. He combined Fishman Karate and hockey with making it even stronger. So there's evidence there that where I support my beliefs and argument in that concept that differs from Sebastian's.
Yeah. What about you, bro? What do you think?
I was kind of leaning more towards like parse theory of like some type of like when you reach so high in the terms of hockey, you do like have some sort of manifestation like in Naruto where you're able to like add like certain type of elemental affinities to your hockey. That's kind of how I was going with it.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. But yeah, man, thank you so much for calling. It's honestly an honor to hear from you, and thank you. You know,
I've been
hope to hear from you again.
Yeah.
Yeah, hope to hear from you again for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Will do.
All right, have a good night, man.
Have a good day.
All right, bye.
Yo, Blazer really called this wild.
Yeah, that was a good phone call.
Yeah.
We have some good phone calls.
Yeah. We got a $5 super chat from Terrible TJ. It says, "Hey Larry, when you gonna drop another music video?"
Don't think so. I let my dad hear one of my freestyles for the first time.
Yeah? Do you like it?
He was like, "Yo, what the?" He's like, "Yo, play it back." It was the ice cream one.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on? This is Larry from That One Piece Talk. Who are you and how are you? Also, you gotta mute the whatever's in the background.
All right, I muted it. Man, why every time I watch
my God.
I always listen kid, bro? why is it an every time thing? With
Shin, you don't gotta comment on all the kid slander. You
bro.
know that though, right? Like you can, they got one off. You can do that.
It's fine. But like, it's been a long break week. I'm ready for this new chapter. Honestly,
I bet you Kid not in it.
I can't wait for Thursday, honestly. And please, next Monday, if Kid does something astronomical, just know I'm the first phone call.
Astronomical.
Y'all might have to ban me from the Discord.
I just appreciate that Shin recognizes that it would be astronomical. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's starting to come around.
So I just want to say, I got a few questions. Well, not a few questions, but just one question. Before the final war in One Piece, because we all know it's building up to this, do you expect somebody to die, and who would you want it to be?
Sebastian got like 3.
I got so many.
Yeah.
I got a lot on the chopping block. I'll let y'all go first. I'm sure anybody
I'll let Lawrence
familiar
go
with
first.
it.
Honestly, who I think is actually gonna die.
Hold on, Shin. There's some background noise, bro.
It is?
Yeah. All right, just go along.
Yeah. How it's looking? Like, I'm gonna go maybe Garp. I'm gonna go Garp. Because I don't see the other ones like Sebastian who I don't see them dying. So the one most likely to me is probably be Garp. Do I want Garp to die? No, but story-wise, I can see it happening.
Larry?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. You know, I've always been really fond of Shanks passing. But due to the recent realization that he's just never in the series at all, and he only appears when the moments are really important. I feel like if we get a lot of screen time from him and a lot of screen time from Blackbeard, just seeing Shanks go down so quickly would kind of be like very hazardous to the One Piece series itself. I think in order to make Shanks fulfill and give us everything we've expected from him, he would need to survive to some degree. He can't just pass away immediately after getting a lot of screen time. But he's the right choice. Having Garp pass is a really good choice too. And those are the only two people I could think of. But Garp passing would be... It'd probably be as bad as the Ace death, in my opinion. Just because of how important Garp is to the series and how long he's been in the series and what he means to Luffy. And for Luffy to lose somebody else, it adds to, like, I agree with Sebastian that he needs to be angry at Akainu. He needs to be angry at, like, Blackbeard. I think doing that to Garp would definitely set the series in a darker tone. And I don't know how that darker tone would fit with a lighthearted, cartoonish Gear 5 Luffy when he's going full throttle. Maybe the evil cartoon version of Gear 5 would bring up the intensity level of the series. That would be crazy. So...
So I like that you brought up that. I have a small counter for that. It's something I got from a Morge video. Blackbeard's whole thing is taking away Devil Fruits. So any beef he got with Blackbeard, if he's taking away the cartoon element of it, we could just have the return of Angry Luffy, straight up. And I would like that. As far as who need to be put in a pack, man, so many names. So many names. Pack Garp up, pack Shanks up, pack Vegapunk up, pack Law up, pack Sabo up. I don't care. Kill everybody that Luffy loved, bro. Everybody.
Where did Vegapunk get on this list for love?
Honestly, Vegapunk just added because he old.
What about Sanji?
Nah, Sanji can't.
Oh, Sanji, that's all right. So we're playing favorites.
Of course.
Playing favorites.
Shin is on. Of course we playing favorites. Pack Kid up too. just for Shin. Catch a stray, bro. Pack everybody up.
Catch a stray.
Nah, but to be serious, I don't know if I said. Did I say Law?
Yeah,
I said Law. You said Shanks.
Law and Wano would have been good.
Law and Wano would have been better.
Yeah.
I don't think. I said a bunch of names. I don't think half of them are gonna die. I don't think probably more than just one of them will die. If I had to choose one, it's between Shanks and Garp. I actually do think Vegapunk dies, but he just doesn't. It doesn't have the same for Luffy.
Yeah.
Vegapunk will be dying so that we just don't get all the information. You know what I mean? That would be for us as a reader to
the
stop
same way
us.
like Toki passed.
Right.
You missed one, Sebastian.
Who I missed?
Your boy Usopp.
Oh yeah, that wouldn't.
Usopp wouldn't count though.
No, that would. I don't want to put Usopp in a pack. I just think if Straw Hat's gonna die, Usopp would be the one.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, there's a difference.
I don't want to put Usopp in a pack.
Let him go.
Bro.
You talking about Law and everyone else? Let him go. I'm on that.
What about?
Yeah, for me to pick one, Shanks, just because that's what I've been on since day one. So go ahead, Shin.
Yeah, what do you think, Shin?
Man, I'm so glad y'all started saying Shanks because the overhyping of Shanks is just insane.
How you gonna say that when you can't?
Shin, Kid not doing it. I need you to know that. Kid not putting Shanks in the pack. That's not happening.
I understand that. But like the way y'all been making, like every time we do power scaling arguments, DDTs and stuff, like y'all be like, it's what I've seen. We haven't seen Shanks do nothing, and people put that man on a pedestal all the way on the top.
That's not
of the
true
pole.
either.
So like the best thing we've seen from Shanks is him looking at a Loch Ness monster and the stuff from Film Red. Like, am I lying?
Yeah.
The best thing we've seen was Film Red. What else have we seen?
What else have we seen? So again, he I don't know why we always have to list this. He split the sky with Whitebeard.
Talk to him.
That's a strength feat. When he got onto the ship before that, he was the only person in the series we have ever seen without clashing with another Conqueror's Haki user that can break inanimate objects with just his presence alone. That in and of itself, still nobody in the series has been able to do. He then launched his
Roger
Haki.
and Whitebeard do that?
No. If he did, it was only because of the tremor fruit.
Imagine thinking, didn't Roger and Whitebeard? If I'm doing things Roger and Whitebeard did, bro, what? That's a positive. That's not a negative.
Yeah. And the list goes on and on. Like, he's able to stop a rampaging Akainu. You can throw it up to politics if you want. It's up to you. But Akainu didn't care about politics at all. Then it even gets to the point where, like, even Blackbeard himself stated, "We ain't ready for him, bro." and meanwhile, Blackbeard 3 chapters before that was like, "Yo, I'm the most invincible person on the planet. I have both devil fruits. I'm good. Nobody could beat me."
And they prove that Blackbeard's also ready to take on. He has the old man Whitebeard, and Sengoku and Garp. But
He wasn't
Shanks,
actually ready.
But Shanks, he was like, maybe some other time when I get some drink. And then also what Larry's talking about, and also to the main, I bring out the Conqueror's hockey usage. We have still never seen no one else copy that what he did. He did it twice, pre-time skip and post-time skip. One on the same one Larry was talking about on Whitebeard ship, was able to maintain it. So it's like usually they come out and burst. He's able to hold his Conqueror's hockey for an extended period of time. We've seen that pre-time skip. Then we've seen it again do that to an Admiral, where he's able to even shut down an Admiral's ability, where we saw the Admiral's ability, full Logia form, digress back to his base form and then leave. So he kind of like made an Admiral submit to his will and then leave on Rashi when he was full ready to take on all that was there.
Yeah, bro. You talk about the community wanking. Oda is wanking Shanks, bro. It's Oda. It's not us.
Yeah.
Look at what he G-checked an Admiral twice. and one was from 50,000 meters away. Like, I'm sorry, bro.
You know what it is, Shin? I know it's hard for you because, like, you're so used to people like Kid and having to make up things, and having to make up things for your characters, where like characters who are already at that level show you something, and you're just like, yo, I gotta discredit that person and give the credit to the person who doesn't deserve it. I get it.
You
bro.
need to be hyping Shanks right now. This is your time.
Yo, Shin, this is why you my brother, man.
Hold on.
I gotta hold you accountable.
Larry, this is when you need to hype Shanks, right? This is how trolling works. Because when Kid eventually takes his L, you can be like, well, that was to Shanks though. That was to Shanks.
I've been doing that these past 2 years. Kid only lost.
No, but this is the problem. He didn't lose to Shanks last time. He lost to Shanks' peoples. That's the L you took. You gotta eat that.
He lost to Ben Beckman.
We don't know that. We don't know that.
Even if he lost to Ben Beckman, even if he lost to Ben Beckman, I mean, does that matter? Like we stated before, like that don't matter. He got no diffed.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody would if you just not coming in the New World. But that's besides the point. I'm gonna head out with this, Larry. I want to make a bet. If Kid is able to do some type of harm to Shanks, you got to start your kingdom journey.
Oh, I'm with that.
You gotta start your.
Let's
if
go.
You so sure that Shanks is going no diff, Kid. You gotta start your kingdom journey.
You gotta hit
any type of harm.
You gotta hit Shin with something though. You can't. It can't be one sided. You gotta bet back.
I give Shin too much. Too much. I kid on him too much. You know what I'm saying?
I got the punch.
Shin, can you see me right now?
Yeah, I can see you. Bro.
All right. I got my hand out. On 3, we'll shake. 1, 2, 3.
Let's go.
Yeah,
now you gotta be rooting for Kid for real.
I'm gonna just let you know it's a little lag on the stream.
Oh, it's okay.
It's a little delay, but I'm gonna let you know I did put my hand out.
Yeah. I shook with you. All right.
No, I bet. I need the Kingdom Journey to start after Thursday, bro.
Damn, bro. How could you bet Kingdom on Kid? I hate you. Larry probably never read.
Kid gonna do some type of harm.
I hope he do.
Yeah.
I hope he do.
And
man.
also, I just want to mention about the whole help with Shanks thing. Morris just dropped the video that Shanks is the sage of One Piece. It's pretty dope. I watched it.
Oh, it's a good video.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, you did watch it, Sebastian.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say you need to watch that because you're coming at Shanks. All right.
Listen, I still want him to die. You can be the sage. That's what sages do.
Yeah.
All them other sages on that list, Jiraiya and them, that is hell, boy. What you talking about?
All my was on that list.
Yeah.
He finna die. All right.
Shin, thank you, brother. It's always good to hear from you.
All right, gang.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Have a good one.
All right, G.
Peace.
All right. Real quick, we did get a $2 super chat from Terrible TJ. It was a sad face because you ain't dropping the music video. We got a $5 super chat from Shanks and from Terrence. It says Shanks and Beckman said that Ace's hockey had a fiery nature to the point where his very presence stopped blizzards.
Yeah, that did happen.
It's all hockey, Lauren.
Which is crazy. They said it wasn't his ability that stopped it from on Chopper's Island, Drum Island, but it was his hockey, which is I was like.
So to me, that was always his ability and his hockey coinciding. But you know, that's just how I look
that makes
at it.
sense.
I think it was just his hockey and Devil Fruit combined.
Yeah,
that's really what it was.
Because I feel like your ability is going to amplify your ability.
Especially with what we're seeing now.
He's a walking flame, bro. Like, of course he's going to change the atmosphere. I'm surprised a lot of things didn't dry up around him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or like he didn't make other towns like rain because of the heat,
the humidity.
Yeah, he probably created like humidity, like Johnny Storm. Like, you know, he flame on. I wish Ace did that one.
That would have been funny.
Yeah, that would have been so good.
So funny, bro.
Flame on.
Marv, do you have any more calls? All right.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going? This is Larry from that One Piece Talk. Who are you and how are you?
What's up? It's Winston. What's up, that One Piece Talk?
Hey, what's up, man? How are you? Thank you for calling.
I'm doing good. What's up? What's up?
Yeah, what's your question, man?
So my question is, it's about a group of characters that I think they're pretty cool, but we didn't really get to see them a lot. The Revolutionary Army.
Mm-hmm.
When do you think they're gonna come back into the story, and how?
I think, damn, that's such a good question. We sort of have to predict where the story is gonna go, and I think that the greatest possibility of seeing the Revs is Vegapunk passes away.
Yeah,
I think that's what happens. Dragon gets word of it. Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you.
Vegapunk passes away, and then another one. My bad, bro. And then Kuma, his backstory is revealed, and then somehow, some way, the Revs also find out about it, or find out the information that they were downloading from what it seemed within him, and they start the war. I think Vegapunk will be the catalyst to the final war, and then that's when the Revs will start pulling out the big guns.
Okay, I see that.
Yeah,
I'd say whatever the results of whatever happens on Egghead, and we're getting the developments. Bonnie with Kuma's backstory, Vegapunk potentially dying, whatever happens with Kuma right now on Mary Joa, it's just whatever the results of Egghead are will force the revolutionaries to act. It could be on Egghead itself if Dragon gets word that a Gorosei member is coming. It could be that alone. It could be whatever it is with Kuma. I think just whatever happens on Egghead will force the revolutionaries to act, because they've already started this war where they've declared war and they went there and they got Kuma back, but like they haven't done much beyond that, and that was off-paneled. In my headcanon has always been that they'll be the backing force. You know how Luffy was fighting, but the main force was like Whitebeard for Marineford. I thought that we might get something similar where like it's him with his crew, but like the bulk of the forces are revolutionaries and the people that Luffy has, met along the way, helping him in the final fight versus the world government. I don't know if Oda's saving the revolutionaries for just that moment, or if there will be more between now and then. But I don't know. I don't know, personally. It's one of those two. But I think whatever happens on Egghead, like Larry was saying, is the catalyst. So, Law?
Yeah, I kind of feel like... I'm sorry?
No, go on.
I kind of feel like we're... I feel like we're going to get... we're going to see them. Because I don't... Maybe not on a big part, like what you're asking. But we're going to see them, like, really... It's going to be right before the flashback or right after. Like Kuma's flashback with Bonnie and everything, or Vegapunk and Kuma's flashback together, whatever. I think we're gonna see them again, acting, doing something, either to Kuma being on Mary Jo's, or I don't believe, because I think it's too early for them. But I kind of thought like, they're gonna go save Kuma at Mary Jo's, but that's gonna be a war, and they know that. So I can see where Dragon doesn't do anything there. But if he is like Luffy, he would go. Like that's Luffy's son. He would go, but that's probably starting a war too earlier than when he wanted to. But that is also his friend Kuma going there, right? But I believe we're gonna see them either right before the flashback and right after. or right after. It's going to be one of them.
Yeah. What do you think, Winston?
I thought because Shaka called up Dragon and was like, hey, since I'm so smart, I think I'm gonna die soon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, maybe Dragon's like, oh, well, that is Vegapunk. He's pretty smart, so maybe we should go help him, guys. So do you think there's a possibility of them coming to Egghead? That would make Egghead much more insane. Imagine Dragon facing off against Saturn.
I can see it. I can. It's just, and I mentioned it. Like, if he gets word back that Saturn's here, like, now's the time to spin the block, bro. If your goal is to take out the world government, and you hear one of their top members is just available for you, that's the time to pull up. And I'll be relatively disappointed if he doesn't, personally. But I just don't know. Like, Oda's been saving them for so long. It seems like they're going to be a part of this arc to me because of Vegapunk's connection. Like you said, he called him directly. But, like, are we getting that meeting between Luffy and his dad now on Egghead randomly like this? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like, it's possible. I just don't know. I just don't know.
Maybe, like, he shows up and they help him, like, they help Luffy get away.
That could happen. That could be the thing.
I kind of feel like when Luffy meets Dragon, they're going to team up, similar to like how he just teamed up with Whitebeard, so to speak.
Right. Yeah.
It's gonna be like very nonchalant, like, yeah, you're my dad, but I don't really see you that way. But we're just gonna team up here.
Yeah. But yeah, Winston, thank you for calling, man. I appreciate it.
Got me something to think about.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got us thinking.
Much love. Continue the great work.
Yes, thank you.
Appreciate
that.
Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
You too.
All right, bye-bye.
Oh, man. I put a poll in the chat right now. After Egghead, but before the final war is winning. When I put, when do the revolutionaries take the spotlight? So,
yeah.
We got a couple super chats.
Okay.
We got a $50 super chat.
You can bring the calls in too, Marv, by the way.
From Fourth Face.
Yeah, you can bring the calls in.
Yeah. From Fourth Face, it says, Seb looking cute for real.
Thank you, Fourth Face.
Thank you, Fourth Face.
Hey, what's going on? This is Larry from that One Piece Talk. Who are you and how are you?
Yo, y'all can hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, yo, this is MDB. I'm from TikTok. I don't know if you really know me like that, but yo.
Yes, I do. MDB Captain, right?
Yes, sir.
Yo, bro, you're so funny, bro. I love your TikToks, dog. Hilarious. How are you, man?
Yo, I'm good. I just wanted to come on here to give my agenda real quick. You know me.
Is it about the is it the Blackbeard Force coming through or?
Oh yeah, no, I had to put it on pause because it was just gonna be a lot of back and forth about the same topics. I was waiting for Blackbeard.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
You know what I mean?
All right. Let's hear it, man.
Yeah, Garp is a fraud. You know what I mean? I want to put it out there first.
What?
Sabo, we need to put him in a pack ASAP. You know what I mean? Sabo and Clarence are the same person, and Fresh Kaido would have definitely beat a Gear 5 Luffy. That's how I feel.
I agree with that last one.
I agree with that.
I'm with the Sabo one. Garp is not a fraud, bro. Garp is not a fraud.
What makes you say that?
I hear that nowadays, bro. It's so weird.
Did you just leave?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What was?
Why do you think Garp is a fraud? Like, what is the basis for that?
Oh, well, yeah. Listen, all the information that's leaking out of about God Valley, it's not making sense. The numbers just don't add up. Listen, you had a Shiki, a Kaido, a Big Mom, Rocks, Stussy, Wangxi, and Captain John. So you mean to tell me Garp and a few good men beat all that? Come on, I'm not believing that.
Roger is a few good men now? What?
Roger and a few good men, yes. I'm not believing that. He's a fraud.
Damn, you
Big fraud. And that's why I think he doesn't like talking about God Valley, because he knows he's a fraud.
That's crazy.
Oh, man. I just feel like he's had so many years showing that he's not a fraud. You know, like he's been in other high leverage situations that were seen by other people. And like,
let me ask you this question. Hello?
Yeah, go.
Okay, let me ask you this question. So, if
Garp is that guy, and he beat almost 3 or 4 members of the Rocks Pirates, but he needed help with Shiki and the N-word when they was about to execute.
Listen to me right now. I don't know where you're from. I don't know where you're. Hold on.
Back, like, you know what? I'm about to win this back. Garp shut down almost all of the Rocks Pirates. I get to watch anything.
You want this one?
He asking me for help. What's good with that? What you mean?
I'm flabbergasted.
Listen, I don't know where you from, but I've seen people who would win one-on-one fights with other people jump that person several times in my life, okay? It's just the game, all right? Garp is a Marine. I don't need to play fair versus a pirate. You don't care to play fair versus Shiki. Him with Sengoku stacked the deck, it doesn't matter. He pulled up to Marineford and he jumped Shiki because that's his job. That's what he's supposed to do. Just because he did it does not mean he needed to do it. There's a huge difference. That's like saying Shanks needs his crew to jump Kid right now. He don't. He can pull up on Kid Dolo and watch Kid right now. But listen, we're pirates. We gonna do what pirates do.
The last time Kid even saw Shanks didn't even know he was there. Gone before Shanks didn't even know he was around.
You're telling me Shanks would have gave him the respect of a 1v1? There's no basis for that. There's no basis for that.
No, Shanks. No, if anything, Shanks is gonna look at Kid and take his poneglyphs and spank his little butt and dip. If anything, it's gonna be worth the smallest panel. That's how much it's gonna be worth the whole Kid fight.
All
the
right.
smallest panel in the bottom left corner.
Yo, listen though. So this is where like it gets so confusing to me because I feel like everybody's smarter than we're led to believe, and like we know that when Garb and Roger ended up teaming up to verse the Rocks crew and Rocks himself, there were too many hard hitters on Rocks' team for just 2 of them and Rayleigh, and we could even throw some like, you know, some upper like respect to Bogart because he might have been, you know, a guy of respectable strength. That I
was gonna give that to Scopper, but I can give that to Bogart.
Yeah, I would give it more to Bogart. But it's like, it was like we know that something else happened. Like that's what's largely hinted at. It's insinuated that these guys went up against this crew. Something happened, and for some reason, Garp and Roger won out against impossible odds. So it's like we know that it just wasn't just Garp and Roger. Garp might have received the credit for the entire defeat of the Rocks Pirates, and Roger didn't, which is why he got his moniker. But 100%, that doesn't make Garp a fraud. It just means that something happened that turned the tide of the battle, and we don't know what happened. That's it. But
until that information leaks. Yo,
but MDB, hold on.
Other feeds.
Yo, but MDB.
I can't give you the moniker of hero of the Marines if you ain't do half the stuff you said.
Hold on. So listen to me. Garp was also going to be the fleet admiral. You just don't get to be an admiral at any point in your life if you don't master the 6 forms of Rokushiki or like have hockey at the minimum. Like the dude has the ability to tell Sengoku, because he saw Ace get a hole punched through his body, I'm going to go over there and kill that brat. And then Sengoku himself had to push him down into the ground. And Garp was like, if you take your hand off me, I'm going to go kill him. There has been no other Marine that was even going to face Akainu or stand in his way, except like Kobe. But Kobe already knew he was going to get bodied, right?
Okay, that leads me into perfect. So let me ask you this: Rocks Pirates, young Whitebeard, young Kaido, young Big Mom. Hey, chill. Brock, the whole Pirates. Do you think? What's his name? I am blanking out right now. Akainu. Yeah, I'm tripping. You think Akainu's going out there and he's defeating all of the Rocks Pirates with him, Bogart, and a few good men?
No, that's why Akainu's not Garp, bro. That's it.
Or Dragon. Or Gold
Roger.
Roger.
I'm saying Garp is not Akainu. And Akainu was supposed to have the world's most offensive devil fruit out there.
Yeah.
And you don't think Akaino's gonna do? No, so it's not happening until he's a fraud.
All right.
Marv, hang up on him, yo. I'm serious.
Yo, MDB, we're gonna have to get back to this question eventually, but we gotta go because time is short.
Oh no, my bad. I just want to say something. I appreciate it. Y'all taking my call. Y'all killing it. Keep on doing what y'all doing, man. Y'all have a blessed day.
Yeah, you too, MDB. Love you, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
See ya. All right. We did get a super chat from Fourth Phase for the $50. Sorry we read right past it, even though we did read it. He said, Seb looking cute, for real. Thank you for the 50, by the way. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Much love.
Yeah, he looking a little cute, man.
It's this purple shirt.
A little snacky snack. Then we got one from T-Bone for $2. Says, Zeph was the Yonko before Shanks.
No.
Possible.
No, it's not.
Anything else?
No, I think that's the last super chat that we got today.
right.
I just want y'all to know Garp won the poll.
Yeah.
96% support.
I do want to say thank you, everybody, for watching the episode. It's truly a pleasure. If you haven't subscribed to us yet, please do. If you haven't liked the video yet, please like the video. If you haven't joined our Discord yet, please join the Discord. You know, we're going to be having Sebastian's DDT on Wednesday again, or do you want to do it so the twins can join?
I mean, I can switch it up. I guess I'll ask y'all off call or off show what works for y'all, because we can switch it up.
Yeah, if he wants to join. Because he doesn't look like he wants to join.
What? First of all, I want to join, but I do want to join when there's like when there's better matchups though.
Damn. Anyway, thank you guys so much. My name is Larry.
Lawrence.
And this is that One Piece Talk. Chana.